I welcome you all to today's class. This is Yasin, your English language instructor. As you know that nowadays we are taking classes on British English versus American English. So in our previous videos we talked about spelling differences, pronunciation differences, and in this video I'm going to share a few grammar differences as well. But again, in all my videos, or if you watch my previous videos, so I have mentioned there that they're both considered to be accurate and they're both standard English. So today I am just going to give you a few tips, few points. I'm going to tell you a few points in which the British English and American English differ from each other. So let's talk about a few things. First of all, present perfect tense. So they'll use past simple tense instead of present perfect tense. Not all the times. Americans do use present perfect tense as well, but most of the times they use past simple tense instead of or in place of present perfect tense. For example, if British say I have lost my wallet, so Americans will say I lost my wallet. So you see that British use present perfect tense and Americans use past simple tense, but it isn't in every situation. Like when you shouldn't think that Americans never use present perfect tense, but mostly they use past simple tense in place of present perfect tense. Next, I have no money, I have no time. So Americans will use I don't have any. Okay, for example, I have no time, I have no money. So Americans use I don't have any time and I don't have any money. Then the use of shall still exists in British English. With I and we, they use shall. Like for example, I shall play cricket, we shall play cricket, and then there are some rules that British sometimes for emphasizing they use shall with we, you, they, and just for normal sentences or for just probable sentences they use shall. But Americans have almost dropped using shall. Okay, they have almost dropped. So when they dropped it, it means that Americans don't use shall. So if you don't use shall in American English, it's not a problem. You can still speak English. In British English, let me tell you one thing more. In British English also, in some places shall has been dropped, but it still exists in British English, while in American English it is almost gone. I talk to same. With talk, British use to and Americans use with. Okay, like I talked with Sam, I talked to Sam and I talked with Sam. I talked to Ali and I talked with Ali. I talked to Yasin and I talked with Yasin, right? And the at the weekend and on the weekend. So British use at the weekend. Where were you? What will you do at the, or so what do you do at the weekends? Okay, and Americans on the weekend. What do you plan to do on the weekend? Okay, at the weekend. He visited me at the weekend, and he visited me on the weekend. Now, one thing, the second and third forms. Like for example, we have learn. Okay, learn is a word. So in British English, they're irregular verbs. Irregular means that their second and third forms don't end with ed. So in British English, their second and third forms end with t. Like learn, learned, learned. Same, burn, burn, burnt, burnt. Get, got, got. While in American English, these verbs like burn, learn, they are considered to be regular verbs. Like learned, burned, I learned English, I burned myself, I burned my finger, I burned my finger. American English, ed, okay? Learned. British English, learned. American English, British English burned, and American English burned, right? So these verbs, like there are certain verbs, learn, burn, and these kinds of verbs. In British English, their second and third forms end with T. In American English, their second and third forms end with ED. Thanks a lot. Keep watching, and we will come up with another video in which we will talk about British and American vocabulary differences. Thanks a lot. Keep watching.